Warning. This video contains content that may disturb you and challenge your perception of reality. Ensure you're in a safe space before you continue. Hello, and welcome to Charlie Ghostlight. I'm Charlie. Tonight, what you're about to see might never leave your mind. Get ready.
Have you heard about this paranormal island in Argentina?
No.
Never?
Why?
So there is this swamp located in Argentina that has this eye-shaped island inside of it called El Ojo.
Huh?
After the discovery of the weird-shaped island by horror filmmaker Sergio Neuspiller in 2016, researchers went through the historical imagery of El Ojo on Google Earth and found out they could watch the island move inside the swamp and has been here and moving for over 20 years.
God damn.
The whole island is incredibly solid, unlike the land surrounding it. And the water around the island is super clear and cold, which is really strange considering the climate that it is located in. There are many theories about how the perfect floating island came into being, with the most known one being the island's involvement with UFO activities. To try and solve these conspiracies, Sergio and another researcher went to discover the island in person. And what they discovered, they couldn't believe.
It looks for real that someone is cutting it. There are bubbles coming from the bottom.
Neuspiller and his partner luckily brought an underwater camera to finally discover the truth about these mysterious activities inside the lake. If you want to see the underwater video, you gotta click on this icon, then more, and then on YouTube.
Why does this feel like the start of an alien invasion movie?
There's a theory going around that people who've never broken a bone aren't normal, not special, not lucky, just different. Some say their bones don't break because they're not supposed to, like their body knows something we don't, or worse, that they're not fully human. There's even talk in certain forums, people wondering why these individuals also tend to heal fast, don't get sick often, and sometimes don't even remember major injuries. One theory says they're part of a hidden group, a genetic experiment, or something older, something not from here. But here's the weirdest part. A handful of people who've never broken a bone, they all disappeared after sudden freak accidents. Coincidence? Or did something come back for them? So, have you ever broken a bone?
So if you've never broken a bone, maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's a warning. Alright, let's see this.
Have you seen the theory about clocks?
No.
So when you look at a clock, it looks pretty normal. You never think anything of it. But what if I told you there's actually a really dark theory behind the idea of a clock?
What?
Right, you go across the clock, across the way, you see like 11 and 1, it equals 12. 10 and 2 equals 12. 9 and 3 equals 12. 8 and 4 equals 12. 7 and 5 equals 12. And then 6 plus 6 equals 12. They all equal 12.
Wait, what does that mean though?
Well, also think about this. When you go diagonally and look at the numbers and you subtract it, like 12 minus 6 equals 6. 11 minus 5 equals 6. 10 minus 4 equals 6.
Wait, what is going on?
But wait, if you look at this a different way too, if you look across, 12 plus 1 equals 13. 11 and 2 equals 13. 10 and 3 equals 13. 9 and 4 equals 13. It all equals 13.
So what's the theory?
You look at all the numbers, right? It's just weird how you go different formulations and they all equal the same.
That's actually kind of scary.
I don't really want to get into like the exact thing that I saw, but it is weird how everything, equals the same. Comment if you guys know what that is.
Dude,
I don't
that
know.
was
I don't
weird.
want to say.
That like gave me chills just looking.
Fastest man-made object in the world. Would you have a guess?
A bullet.
Yeah,
A bullet?
a missile.
A cannon.
A missile?
I'll guess a satellite.
Yeah,
A satellite? Like a space probe?
Yeah, so it's go like 13,000 miles an hour.
Okay, so this is gonna blow your mind. Okay?
Okay.
So the fastest man-made object in the world isn't any of those things, and it's also the first man-made object to ever enter space. We sent something to space before Sputnik.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what's the deal. So you're thinking fastest man-made object? Yes, we have rockets. We have NASA. Air Force has something that goes like 4,000 miles an hour, a plane, and then NASA has something that goes 7,000. Then the space shuttle goes 17,000 miles per hour.
Okay.
Something that we've made that goes 150,000 miles per hour, but I guarantee you've never heard of it because it's a manhole cover. So in 1957, they're doing a ton of nuclear testing, right? They're, in Nevada, and they've just got this huge field. And they did one where they dug this tunnel that was 3 feet wide and about 400 feet deep, right? So they're going to blow this nuclear bomb. They're testing. But on top of this tube, they have just a manhole cover.
That's shot into space?
when it came down, they recorded it, and they looked back on the images and everything, and they saw how fast it was traveling. They had a camera going 1,000 frames per second, right? And so this thing shoots up into space at 150,000 miles per hour, and is still to this day circling in space somewhere.
Oh my
It's
God.
going faster than any satellite.
Gone, but watching. Watch this before it disappears.
Okay, so I'm about to blow your mind with this video. We all know how many people believe Antarctica is not a continent of ice, but rather a giant ice wall surrounding all the continents of the world, and many people believe that if we cross these ice walls, there would be many other continents that have been kept hidden from us. Well, I'm about to show you a couple maps that actually show all the continents being surrounded by an ice wall. Up first is a map from Gleason's new Standard of the World map. And as you can see, it clearly shows an ice wall surrounding all the continents. This was also published in 1892, and Antarctica was found in 1820. Which means they definitely had a better understanding of Antarctica, because they literally found it 70 years before this map was published. So the real question is, why is it different today? But that's not even the craziest map. Here is the next map, which was leaked from an unknown source, and it's unbelievable. The ice wall is surrounding the continents and extends out to what looks like a bunch of other continents. And oceans, which means other creatures or humanoids are there that are being hidden from us. Let's say this is real. Why is it being hidden from us? Is it for our safety, or is it being hidden for some other sinister reason? I'm very curious to see what everyone thinks about this, so let me know.
They don't want us to know.
What if you've already lived this exact moment a million times before? There's a chilling idea called the eternal return. It says time is a loop, and when you die, you don't move on, you just start over again. You're forced to relive your entire life, every regret, every mistake, every pain forever. Same birth, same heartbreaks, same death, and the worst part, you don't remember any of it. But some part of you feels it, like deja vu. That might just be your soul remembering the loop.
Again and again.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in? I'll go.
The conspiracy behind Wayfair. So I remember when this first was going on, a lot of people were all up in the air about it. Some people believed it, some people didn't believe it, and I happen to be one of those people that really didn't believe it. I thought there was no way that this huge corporation would use their website and certain items and certain coupon codes kids. So I really never thought too much into it until one day something happened that actually changed my mind. So this happened about a year ago. So I work for a pretty well-known bank, and I remember we would always have this older lady come in, and anytime she came in, she would always do a cash deposit and immediately do a wire transfer. So one day I got a chance to help her, and I remember she did the cash deposit, which was like $13,000, all in cash, and immediately wanted to do a wire transfer. So when I started to help her, I remember the account number was written down on like a small piece of paper and the amount. So she was sending about 12,900 and like whatever cents to this account number. So I got to the part where I needed to type in who it was going to, and she told me it was going to Wayfair. And at first I really didn't think too much into it because she did have a business account, and I figured, well, maybe she's buying new furniture for her office or whatever. So after we were done, I started to go through her previous wire transactions just to see where all these other wires were going that she did prior. And they were all going to Wayfair. There was like 6 or 7 different wires that she was doing in the past like 60 days. And that's when I changed my mind. I knew that there was no way that this person that is always doing cash deposits and immediately doing a wire transfer afterwards to Wayfair, sending them thousands of dollars in 2 months, was buying furniture. There was no way. And I remember shortly after I reported the account just for like secondary review or whatever. And next thing I know, she never comes in again. I never see her again, ever.
She vanished forever.
The definition of the uncanny valley effect is in aesthetics. The uncanny valley is a hypothesized relation between an object's degree of resemblance to a human being and the emotional response to the object. In simpler terms, if something looks extremely similar to a human, our senses can still determine that it's not, and our nervous system almost instinctually reacts with a fear response. This would have to be an evolved function for some reason, as the fear response is a survival mechanism. Could this mean that at some point, humans were not at the top of the food chain and had a predator that was capable of mimicry or shapeshifting? Indie game developer David Szymanski tweets, "One of the most frightening things I've ever heard is when someone pointed out that the existence of the uncanny valley implies that at some point there was an evolutionary reason to be afraid of something that looked human but wasn't." The modern definition of the uncanny valley effect seems to refer heavily to AI and robotic imposters, but that is only a modern application of our fear response. The Outsider by Stephen King does a frightful job of imagining how a predator like this could function, with the grief eater feeding on the grief surrounding a family after losing a loved one, using some sort of shapeshifting or mimicry ability to take someone's form before committing a heinous crime, causing confusion, suspicion, paranoia, and desperation, with the goal seeming to be a total family annihilation. The grief eater showcases a similar intelligence level and consciousness to its human counterpart, but has lived so long it doesn't even know when it was born, what it is, or how many of it there are, only that there are more, and he himself is a rather ravenous, wild one, and that the need to feed drives his existence, insinuating that more controlled, assimilated, and even organized grief eaters could be living among the populace of the civilized world. So why do we fear the uncanny valley effect?
It looks human, but it's not. There's an ocean beneath us, and maybe more.
There are people living inside of the Earth. It's true. New information from NASA states that there is a large ocean beneath the Earth's crust, after scientists detected movement below the surface. Around 500 miles below, a large supply of water has been found stored in a rock named ringwoodite. But it gets even crazier. Scientists say that this rock is so huge that it contains 3 times the amount of water on the Earth's surface. This causes many to believe that there is more down there than we originally thought, possibly even civilizations. While the news of this discovery was over 10 years ago, it was never talked about. Is the government hiding this information from us? What do you think?
They've always been watching, from below.
Tell me something terrifying you seen as a child that all the adults and everyone tried to convince you was your imagination, even though you knew it was 100% real. I'll go first. When I was younger, me, my big brother, and my little cousin, who was staying with me at the time, used to be terrified of nap time. Daytime naps, scared. And the reason why was because there were like 3 to 4 inch people who would be in our room terrorizing us and picking at us and torturing us every time we tried to go to sleep during the daytime. They never came out at night, and no one believed us because every time we went and told our parents or the adults about it, they was like, oh, y'all just trying to get out y'all nap. But they were little sneaky, hateful, sarcastic ass little people who with us, pull our covers, do all types of
Ouch, creepy. Listen closely. Something's not right.
Listen to this eerie woman say that death is irreversible during the Queen's procession. I can't think of any context that it would fit in.
Death is irreversible, and the fact that she's... As you can see...
I think she knew more than she said.
This Teletubbies conspiracy theory is so dark that it will change the way you look at Teletubbies forever. The Teletubbies world isn't a happy place at all. It's set in a post-apocalyptic future where Earth has been destroyed by a nuclear war, and the Green Hills are actually radioactive wastelands covered in artificial grass to hide the truth. The Teletubbies themselves are not cute aliens. They're mutated children who survived the disaster. The antennas on their heads and TVs in their stomachs are the result of cruel experiments by a secret government trying to control them. But it gets darker. The sun baby that watches over them might not be as innocent as it looks. It represents society's demand for constant happiness, even in misery. But some believe the sun baby is an all-seeing eye, watching their every move, ensuring they never escape their artificial prison. And what about the voice from the sky? The booming voice that gives them commands could be the scientists or military leaders controlling their lives, forcing them to follow strange rituals and behave a certain way. Even the tubby custard and tubby toast aren't safe from suspicion. Some say it's not food at all. It's a chemical or drug designed to keep them docile and obedient. If they refuse to eat, who knows what happens to them? Why do they always return to the tubby dome? The theory suggests it's not a home. It's a containment facility, keeping the Teletubbies locked away from the outside world. The machines inside, like the vacuum-like Nunu, are actually surveillance devices to monitor them. The creepiest part is that the show was made to warn us about the dangers of nuclear war and how experiments on survivors could create something horrifying. What if Teletubbies isn't just a children's show, but a glimpse into a possible future?
They were never meant to survive.
The color blue was never written down.
Weird.
Like in the Bible and like all this, like blue was never a word.
Weird.
And they would always just...
They didn't have a word for that color?
No. And so, but like when they would describe like the ocean and stuff like that, they would describe it as like green.
What?
And yeah. And so the theory is if you can't connect a word with a color, can you not see that color? Because your brain, and so they did an experiment in this tribe, and they also have never heard the word blue. And so they gave this graph, and it's this graph of like 12 squares, and they're all green, right? And then there's one that's like a bluish green, and they had these people look at it, and they were staring at it, and it took them so long to figure out which color, because they don't know what to look for in the blue. It was weird. And then they showed another one, and it was all green, and then there was one square that was just like a shade lighter of a green, but it was hard for us to see, and they could spot it instantly.
Wow.
Because they have like over 30 words for green.
Oh my gosh.
The brain is tricky.
No word, no color, no truth. Watch at your own risk.
This doll was specifically made to curse people. It's one of the most haunted dolls that's in the Warrens occult. Warning for you guys don't have to look at the doll if you don't want to, but keep in mind, it could appear in your dreams and give you really, really bad nightmares. Nah, bro, what the... It's called the Shadow Doll or the Doll of Shadows. That's very scary. You never seen this before? I've never seen that. It's definitely a very scary doll. This doll is made up of human and animal bones, and it has a human tooth protruding out of it. And its hair is made out of feathers from crows, and it was specifically made for evil purposes through black magic rituals. And the Warrens explained how this curse would work. If you were to own the doll, you would basically take a picture of it, print out the picture, and you would write a curse on the back of the picture, and then you would send it out to whoever you want to curse. If it's somebody that you don't like, or someone pays you to send a picture to somebody, once they see the picture, if they don't believe it, they're like, it's just probably bullshit. They would start having really, really bad nightmares to the point where their heart would stop and they would have heart attacks. Does this kind of sound familiar? Freddy Krueger? Yes, kind of in a way, yes. Also, nobody really knows how many people it went through to get into the possession of the Warrens, but there is a story of the people who had it before the Warrens. Why would they even have that? I'm explaining it, bro. There was this couple that loved to collect dolls, and they went to this antique store searching for a new doll for the collection, and the owner of that store practically gave it to them. That's obviously a
Red
number,
flag,
bro.
100%,
Of course.
yeah.
So they take you back home, and automatically
Halloween is the #1 time of year that has the most satanic sacrifices.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Apparently, I heard in New York, the week leading up to Halloween, that is the #1 time where most homeless go missing as well. So basically, bruh, a lot of these people will go over there who are these like Satanists. They'll go to certain areas where they'll see homeless people. They'll bring like this unmarked vehicle, and they'll tell these homeless people like, we got food and we can take you to a shelter and things like that. And apparently they will take these people to a random location and they will sacrifice them to the devil on Halloween.
Really?
Yes. Even this dude that was in New York, he was like some type of big banker. He doesn't even know what he's getting into. He ends up being invited to one of these satanic sacrifices.
Oh, damn.
So he's like, bro, I need to do something about this. So he ends up contacting a journalist. He ends up going back. He records the whole thing, and there's like full audio. And he even says, when I do this, I'm more than likely gonna end up dead. Literally 3 days later, police end up finding this guy face down, dead inside of a creek.
No way.
Yeah. So they were like, bro, they got it.
They got it.
And I'm not even gonna lie, this actually just happened in New York. I think like a couple days ago, matter of fact. There was a box on the sidewalk and it had somebody's head in it.
Really?
In New York recently, bro. Yeah. And notice, bro, it's a couple weeks before Halloween.
Missing and never found again.
The woman behind me decapitated her boyfriend when they were doing it and then bragged about it to everybody. The worst part about this, his mother found his head inside of a bucket in their home. The woman's name is Taylor Shaw Business, and the victim right here is Shad Tyrion. Shad and Taylor knew each other since middle school and had been in a relationship since then, so what was different about this time? Apparently she was under the influence of something that led her to do this, is what she claims. Also, she carved out his organs and other parts of his body and scattered them everywhere. She also preserved Shad's blood and then showered in it and told detectives how fun it was. She also attacked her own lawyer during this hearing. Now, Taylor Shaw Business also admitted to loving every little detail about the murder. She said she loved the entire process, all of that crazy stuff. She then continued to engage in necrophilia with his corpse. Now, it gets even sicker here. So when the mother realized that her son was decapitated, she called the police, obviously. They searched everywhere. They found parts of the body scattered in boxes and bags inside of a minivan at one point. And when interviewing Taylor Shaw Business, she said, "You're gonna have so much fun finding the organs, or trying to find the organs." She tried to claim that she was bipolar and that's what happened. She kind of blacked out. However, the jury found her competent to stand trial, so she stood trial. She didn't get away so easy from this one. This story is just insane. People out there are crazy, as you can see. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Pure horror. Behind a human face. Okay, now look at this clip I found.
This is the terrifying image of a woman cowering on her rooftop, trying to escape an intruder when he pops up behind her. What happened to this woman is like something off a horror film. It was September 2014 and Melora Rivera was at her home in California. Unfortunately for her though, she was not home alone on the day in question, although she was initially unaware of this. Melora worked as an actress and actually had a part in the Whitney Houston film Sparkle. She was in her bed when she noticed somebody in her property. He had apparently broken a panel to reach inside and unlock one of the doors. Terrified, the woman tried to escape onto the roof to alert authorities. She managed to balance up on the roof and ring 911 before, terrifyingly, he jumped up and appeared behind her. This image was captured by a passerby. Thankfully, police arrived on the scene and the man was arrested. He was identified as 29-year-old Christian Hicks. He was swiftly arrested and the woman was rescued off the roof by the fire brigade.
Side of Disney World the company doesn't want you to see. If you look at a map of the park, there's a little green spot in the middle of Bay Lake. There's no description of what it is, and it's completely off limits to everyone, including employees. Around 20 years ago, this mysterious island was actually another Disney park called Discovery Island. You'd take a boat from shore, arrive at the island, and basically look at exotic birds. Fast forward to 1999, Animal Kingdom opens, and it's basically a bigger and easier to get to version of Discovery Island. This sparked the very quick decline of the island. Today, it's abandoned and in ruins, completely overrun by nature. It's also heavily guarded. If you're anywhere near Bay Lake, you can be assured that you're being watched. It makes you wonder if there's more to this island than Disney is.
Some parks don't close. They're hidden. They're testing how much we'll forget.
I have a theory that the Mandela effect is used to see how much of history can be altered in front of our eyes. Here's a prime example of one of that. There's this woman on TikTok who was going crazy because she swore the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia logo. And to the point that even Fruit of the Loom themselves put a timeline of all their logos and it never had a cornucopia. And this woman went hard. Her therapist told her, yo, you need to chill out. You need to just drop this. So she went through all of her old clothing and lo and behold, she found a shirt with the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia logo on it. That shows me like, yo, I think the Mandela effect is an operation that's running around right now to see how much of history can be altered right in front of our eyes without us noticing. And then they gaslight the public and be like, nope, this never happened. Damn, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, bro, people are thinking about it very little, like, oh, it's the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears or Jiffy or Jif's peanut butter. No, it's much larger than that, guys. They're using this to see, oh, if we can get people to forget certain primary things about their childhood, what can we do with history?
It existed until it didn't.
The system wasn't built for you to win. You went to school to memorize facts you never use. You were trained to raise your hand, wait your turn, and follow instructions. Then they told you, get a job, work 40 hours a week, give half of it to tax, retire at 67 if you're lucky. That's not a life. That's a script. And most people don't question it because they're too tired from living it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's when you realise freedom was never going to be handed to you. You have to build it. And that's why I teach digital products, because ownership is the only way out. No boss, no begging, no clocking. You move different when you know the system was never designed to serve you. It was designed to use you. Break the script or stay stuck in it.
Still think this is normal? Is that a watch in ancient times?
Oh, this is a question. Why does he have a watch on? Isn't that a watch?
How dare you? Impossible. Stop.
What is that?
It's jewelry.
It looks like a watch. I mean, maybe it's jewelry, but it's on his wrist, and it's a circle, and it's with a band.
Right.
I mean, what is that?
Mini Antikythera mechanism.
It looks like my watch.
It does.
It does.
That's crazy.
But, of course, the explanation is like, of course not. Just jewelry. But it does look like it, doesn't it?
Well, it just makes sense that if they developed weapons and they developed clothing and they developed shelters, if they had the sophistication to be able to construct these buildings, why wouldn't they be able to construct a watch?
Right.
An automatic watch.
Something's off. This chart broke the internet. But now it's way worse.
Okay, so like a year ago, I drew an upside down triangle and it broke the internet. Basically, I sorted conspiracy theories from very real to very fake and dangerous. It looked like this. But it's been a year, and a lot's gone down. There was an attempted coup, people poisoned themselves with horse paste, and for some reason, some people still think that the earth is flat. But on the bright side, Britney is free now. So I've updated the conspiracy chart, and we're gonna do a whole ass series on it. Look, the holidays are coming up, and you might have to see family who believe in reptilian-human hybrids, or that children are being trafficked in secret tunnels under Disney World. It's important to understand that those aren't just fun theories. They promote hatred and cause real-world harm, and it might be time to talk to your family about them. I'll help, I'll provide resources. I'm going to do a video for each section of the chart, but basically it moves from grounded in reality up to detached from reality. The conspiracies at the bottom are things that actually happened, like Watergate or the Tuskegee experiment. Then we pass the speculation line and enter the we have questions category. These things are sus. What's good with UFOs? Do we live in a simulation? We don't know. Once we leave reality, we hit the unequivocally false but mostly harmless section. Was Avril Lavigne replaced by a woman named Melissa? No. And she'd probably like for you to stop saying that. Is Stevie Wonder faking his blindness? Of course not. Stop making people prove their disabilities to you. It's weird. Once we pass reality denial, we're in quite dangerous territory. Denying basic science, medicine, history harms you and society at large. That's the kind of stuff that makes pandemics last longer. And finally, we hit the anti-Semitic point of no return. Oh, hold on one sec. The end of every conspiracy theory rabbit hole is the Jews. Believe me, I've checked. And we'll do a deep dive on this, but anytime you hear about a secret group of evil masterminds controlling the world, just run. This will be fun. And by fun, I mean I will progressively get less sober.
It always ends the same way. Every time.
Do you think it's weird how we're always on our phones, yet we never see them in our dreams? Like, when was the last time you actually used your phone in a dream? In fact, we never really see any kind of technology at all. And so, there's this theory that it's proof we're living in a simulation, and that something is stopping us from seeing or using technology in our dreams. Almost like it's a glitch in the system or something, like the simulation doesn't allow it. And apparently, if we could use technology in our dreams, it might reveal the truth behind what's real. But if we are living in a simulation, why would it stop us from using our devices? Maybe whoever created the simulation has programmed it this way on purpose to keep this illusion of reality, and that it's some sort of code in the system to stop the truth from being exposed. You see, technology is a big part of our everyday lives, and it has a big influence on how we interact with the world. And so if we start to dream about our phones and any other technology we use, it might cause confusion between what's real and what's just a dream.
I'm still thinking this isn't a simulation. Like, share, subscribe, if you dare. This is Charlie Ghostlight, uncovering what most won't even whisper. Which clip shook you the most? Tell me in the comments. I'm watching. And remember, this is just the beginning.